Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to if you're new. I'm one of your hosts, Ash. I'm one of your hosts, Mar.
And I'm one of your hosts, Astro. I think I am.
We're off to a bad start today. But welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about 2014's Appropriate Behavior. For those who haven't seen it, which would make sense because I've never heard this movie before. Appropriate Behavior follows a Iranian woman in her probably mid-20s,
Mentally.
mid to late 20s, yeah, as she navigates being the perfect Iranian slash Persian daughter and also her identity as a bisexual woman. And that's pretty much the entire film. It's just her doing her stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not much to say else about the movie. I don't want to say it was flat because I don't think it was flat, but there's not much else to say without spoilers.
It
So
was, yeah. It was like
yeah,
watching a vlog.
it was like watching a vlog. If you haven't seen it and you want to go see it, this is the mark where spoilers will begin. So I would suggest you go watch it first or something and then come back afterwards because it gets spoiler heavy in here. Also, I just realized this is the first time we've ever put spoiler warnings in any of our videos. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
No, I feel like this is the second. No, you said it during when we did Twin
Yeah,
List.
I'm saying for like these Pride videos, this is the first time we've done this.
Oh yeah, this is the first. I mean, but like
like
they deserve to be spoiler free. I don't know. I feel like
reviews are like they're I don't want to say they're boring, but you can't see much. Oh, the movie was it worked in places and it didn't, and I like the characters, the acting, the writing was good. Okay, goodbye, good night.
that's it.
Yeah.
If you're doing a spoiler free, it will have to be like 5 minutes long. That's
Yeah,
it.
which is bad. This is like kind of like before you watch kind of videos, which I like to watch sometimes. Well, I like to watch before you buy videos for video games because they're trying to take my money.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to watch people play through them. Not even play through them, but basically tell me all the kinks before I just invest my money in something.
Yeah. So before we go any further into the video, I just want to ask what your initial thoughts of this movie were.
My initial thoughts, I was like, first of all, I saw the girl. I was like, she has to be somewhere from the Middle East or something like that. And then she was Iranian. I was like, called it, clocked it. I'm the greatest person to ever look at people and know where they're from. I'm not, by the way. But in that moment, I felt superior. But
Not
my initial
superior.
thoughts was, I did. But my initial thoughts was, I felt like we were gonna what I expected and what the movie was kind of similar. I felt we were going to go through her going through a breakup or something like that, or going through something that was much more life changing. I go into all of these movies, by the way, without reading that freaking the what you call it, the thing you read before the movie synopsis.
The synopsis, yeah.
I go in completely and utterly blind, so I didn't know who this person was. I think her name is Shirin. So
Sure.
I initially thought the movie was going to be pretty entertaining to watch. I thought it was going to be a little bit funny because it had that comedic effect. I would say that the camera, whatever they was doing, was shaking too much. It was shaking more than
I noted that. It was a lot of shakiness. Because I remember when we watched Walk With Me, you noted that the camera work was shaky. This one was much more noticeable.
It was different. I was like, someone holding that camera and being like, like I'm not knocking you, but like keep it straight, please. I just buy those stabilizers. I'm pretty sure you can get it off of a website that specifically like does film or whatever, does film equipment. But yeah, that was my initial thoughts. It was going to be funny, and exactly what we got is exactly what I thought we were gonna get, because it felt when it first opened, I was like, this feels like I'm gonna watch a vlog of this girl's life. And there's like a couple movies that are like that I can think of at the top of my head, and it kind of reminded me of this movie. I mean, that movie kind of reminded me of them. So yeah, what were your initial thoughts?
Okay, this movie it reminded me of the last one we watched, Twinless, and the fact that they kept going back in time and they didn't make it clear right away what was happening, so it left me confused until I clocked it. And like with Twinless, they made it like it was easier to clock it because okay, the character was deceased. Whereas this one, it was like, okay, where in the timeline is this scene happening? It kind of like I couldn't tell we were back in the present. It was confusing. I don't really know how you would go about making it better, but just some kind of signifier. Cause I like for example, like post breakup and pre breakup, just like make it clear. For example, when they went to the to the book to the meeting in the library, I wasn't sure
Mhm.
if this was post or pre breakup. I believe it was post breakup, but it was hard to tell. That was one initial thing I had. Second, I didn't really care for the dialogue too much, the way it was written. It just something about it it didn't feel natural. It felt like they were just reading the scripts. It didn't feel like it was characters. It felt like they were actors at times reading their scripts, not actually characters experiencing what the story and the
I
plot
felt that.
was
I
describing.
felt that. Yeah.
The acting was good. I just do think it was the scripts because I didn't mind the
I
acting too much.
thought the acting wasn't good, especially the main character. The way she read her lines
Yes,
did
the way
not.
she spoke, I did not like.
It felt like I was watching you act and not watching you just live your life. Even though I felt like I still was watching a vlog that has more to do with the camera work and watching her walk around the city and do stuff rather than it has her what she's talking about and what she's saying. So,
Yeah,
but even then, it was just like the way she said words
yeah, and the
made
words she used, they weren't words you would. For example, she's bi, but she never actually says bi. She only ever says bisexual. And I've never met a bi person who exclusively says bisexual when referring to themselves because it's just wordy.
so
It's
funny.
just really
Yeah,
wordy. It's like it's just too wordy.
yeah, it's too much. I'm like that's a mouthful.
Yeah. So like some of the choices that they use with the dialogue, it just did it felt so unnatural.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like what I first clocked when I turned on the when I booted the movie. And then another thing that I first like took notes about is the movie didn't do a good job of hooking me in. I
no,
wasn't hooked. If I wasn't watching it for the channel, I don't even know if I would have continued watching it. I
me
don't
neither.
usually like click off of movies, but like I probably wouldn't have, but I probably would have gone on my phone and
Hmm.
maybe started scrolling or something or texting people because
Yeah,
it just didn't captivate me. And I could tell I'm not captivated because I have a very like analytical way of looking at things when I'm not like drawn in. When I'm drawn in, that side of my brain turns off. I just enjoy the story. But when it doesn't captivate me, I just break down everything and I'm not invested. And I wasn't really invested. Towards the end, I got a little bit more invested, but it took a long time. And I think I was only invested because of the sunk cost fallacy. That's the only reason why I think I was invested because I had poured an hour in. Like I might as well finish it.
explain to our viewers what is that.
Basically, it's the idea of when you put some X amount of time into something, you feel like you just have to continue or have to finish it. You know, like if I'm like cleaning my room and I spend like 2 hours doing it, and I'm like, I might as well just finish it because I already spent 2 hours. Or even like I think the most popular way it's experienced is like games. If you're playing a game and you don't like it, you like the
Mm.
story, but you're already
I,
an hour, two
yeah.
hours deep into the story. You already bought it.
At
You
this point,
right. You already spent your hard earned money on it, and you spend your time on it. You might as well finish it. That's what it is.
yeah, I'm different. I'm quick to DNF something. Books, movies, mute songs. I will stop a song in the middle if I don't like it. I'm just
I
quick
will
to
stop.
just
The
click
songs are
off.
short though, and they're usually
They
free. So
are
you just gotta.
short, but in a movie, I will walk out of movies and I will not be back, or I would do this thing because if I'm with other people, I would do this thing where I would just walk out and I'll spend like 20 minutes in the bathroom because I watch the movie and I come back. Thank God it's almost over.
That's
But
insane.
yeah,
I don't. I spend money on movie tickets. So if I'm going to the movies, I'm gonna watch
yeah, I
it.
spend my. That's why I prefer to get the tickets because I'm just like I don't want to waste your money because if I don't like it, I will spend that 20 minutes in the bathroom. And because the AMC we go to have a little seating area, I will be out there. I'm not watching this movie. I love my people though, but I will be doing that if I don't enjoy something. Or like even an album, stop an album midway, will not go to the next song. I cannot do it, especially with books. It's like you said, this movie did not hook me in either, and if it wasn't for the channel, I would not have completed it. I think I also, because I was doing the task of also cleaning and watching it at the same time, it got me through the movie because I was just like, it's now at this point, I try not to make a background noise because I'm trying, we're trying to talk about it. But at some point, it started becoming, I
Yeah,
was like,
literally when I
God,
was watching the movie, I
Johnny.
was like, this is the kind of movie I would throw on in like a party when I'm like not even during the party. When I'm like setting up for the party, I'm getting my
Yeah,
house ready, I'm throwing that on so I have some kind of noise playing while I'm in the kitchen cleaning. That's
yeah.
what this movie is. I was literally thinking about that. I'm like, this would be a perfect movie for me to turn on while I'm preparing to do something else.
Doing some
Because
sort of task.
yes, I was giving it my undivided attention and I was like, this is not working. the main character, Shireen, I love her name, but the film. First of all, the film opens and with her packing up the rest of her stuff and leaving. I did not know what was happening. They kind of like threw me in, which is fine. You know,
Yeah.
I get my bearings, whatever. I didn't realize. I kid you not. I didn't realize that that was them breaking up until like the midpoint of the film when we
Mhm.
get flash back to right before that happens. I did not realize that.
Me neither.
I didn't know what was happening. I was like, is that your mom? Are you like leaving? Like what's that? And also the Maxine, no hate towards the actress, but she just looks old. She looks a good
I think
five
she
to
is
10 years
older.
older than Shireen.
I think she is older. I think it's one of those because, like, not to jump ahead, but when she came in with the younger girl, I think it was one of those instances where she's one of those people that just dates younger women in a very weird way, in my opinion. Because I was just like, why would you go younger? I would assume that because, like, I kind of thought of it because what's her name? Shireen said that she's wasting her 20s with her. And I was like, that's a very odd thing to say to somebody who is also in their 20s, in my
I see.
opinion.
Yeah,
It's a very
she
odd
looks like
choice
she's
of
in her
words to say because,
30s.
yeah, I'm like, that's a very odd wording choice, in my opinion, because it's letting me know that you're a little bit older. Though they never disclose Maxine's age, it letting me know that she's just a little bit older than her, possibly 5 to 10 years. And that's why it seems like she's wasting her 20s with her. Because I'm just like, she could be just doing whatever else, and Maxine is not that, at least in that type of age range that she is. So, because, and also she did go younger after Shirin. So
Yeah,
I was like, okay, that's a little bit, yeah.
yeah. You know, so the film opens and we see Maxine. I mean, not Maxine. We do see Maxine and Shireen in the apartment, and Shireen's taking, I guess, the last of her stuff, and she leaves, and she throws out the rest of the stuff, and a gift, I guess, she got for Maxine, and then she like goes back to the dumpster and takes something out. Was that? I'm 99.9% sure that was a strap on, but I don't know. It looked like a strap on to me. And then we meet Crystal. Okay, in this again, we're like a good probably like 5 minutes into the movie. I still had no clue what's happening. I thought Crystal was her girlfriend. Because I was like the way they're talking. I was like, okay, she's like, I want my girlfriend back, and I thought Crystal was like breaking up with her. I just didn't know what was happening until maybe 10 minutes in. I was like, okay, so that's what's happening. It took me a while, and mind you, I'm giving this film my undivided attention, but I do like Crystal. I do like her a lot. And you know, they're talking in the cafe, and Shireen is telling Crystal about, you know, they broke up, da 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 da. And Crystal's like, I think you just need to move on.
Yeah, hail from this.
And I fully agree. I think me and Crystal are on the same page throughout this entire movie. And
Yeah,
then we go
especially,
over.
yeah.
Hmm?
I was about to say, especially given when we go back and forth and we see the course of their relationship a little bit. I think she's right.
Yeah. And then we go to Shireen's parents' house, and Shireen and her parents are on the couch, and then her brother and his fiance on the other side of the room. And
Oh
during
yes,
this,
yes. I was like, I completely, I did not know what scene you were talking about. I got it now. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
good. During this scene, Shireen is so not even passive aggressive, aggressive towards her brother and his fiance, and I truly do not understand why. If I had to
Me
guess, it would be
neither.
because she is probably jealous that he is getting married so young and has his love life figured out, and she does
Yeah.
not know what she's doing.
Mhm.
That's what, if I had to infer, that's my best guess. But she
Mhm.
is very hostile towards his fiance, very, very hostile. Like to the point where I thought that she liked the fiance because of how hostile she was to her. It was so bad. Like at one point, they're talking about their careers, and the fiance mentions that, oh yeah, I'm a plastic surgeon, and then Shireen goes, it must be weird for you to come home every day and your fiance talking about her brother is out there saving lives while you go into work and deal with 40-year-old middle-aged white women feeling insecure about their self-esteem. And
Which was very, very, very. I was like, girl, it was very off-putting to me. I was like, girl,
I
what is
know,
wrong
I
with you?
was like, why are you going in that far? And then the fiance responds and she's like, I'm actually a pediatric plastic surgeon. I specialize in dealing with like burn trauma and stuff. And I was like,
Now
now
you
who
just
looks
look like a dick.
actually, and
And mind
and
you,
then
The main character, she does not have a job. She's not in a relationship. I do
No.
think what Mars said is true. I think she was just jealous of her brother. First of all, her brother has pretty much his life together. He making all this money. Pretty
Mhm.
sure as a I forgot what he really does. I know he's a doctor of some sort, like a medical doctor. And
Yeah.
he has a beautiful fiance. She seems lovely, and I'm just like, it just seems like you were just projecting, being
That's what it felt
insecure.
like. That's what it felt like. I don't want things to be like explained to me word for
Mhm.
word in a movie, but I do believe they have to try to convey things a bit better, even if
Yeah,
not through dialogue, just like because yes, I'm able to infer that this is the reason, but I'm only able to infer this after I've finished the movie and looking back on everything.
yeah.
This is a kind of movie like again halfway through I was like if I rewatch this movie knowing how it goes I think I'll understand it so much better, but you shouldn't have to do that to understand the movie.
Mm.
But that whole conversation, I kept like I didn't pause, but I just like it gave me the ick. That's the best way I can put it. I was like, what are we doing right now? Like, what are we doing? And then skipping forward, Shireen moves into her new place, which I don't actually mind. Like the characters make it seem like it's awful. Is it a downgrade from her last apartment? Definitely. But there is worse. And also her roommate seemed chill. We only really get to see the woman roommate. I completely forget her name. The other dude doesn't talk really, but she seems cool. Emo, but cool. She gets a new flat
Because
and her
emo is
parents
cool.
to an extent. To an extent. I feel like if you're being genuinely
Alternative
emo,
is
I think
cool.
you look cool. If you're trying to be emo to look cool, I think you're lame. But and I can tell the difference.
Dang. Tough crowd.
I can always tell the difference.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, this is a part I did like when the parents and the brother were helping her move in, and we get the conversation between Shireen and her father, and then her brother and her mother talk off in the kitchen, and we get to see that they're both kind of concerned for each other. But I do believe that Shireen's concern, I'm putting that in quotes because I don't believe she's actually concerned. I think she's just making a reason to justify why she's so hostile towards her brother and his fiance. She cites that she believes that he doesn't know what he's doing and he's trying to be the perfect Persian
And he's too
son and get
young.
married at a young age and he's just trying to do this to impress them and that in the future when he's old he's going to regret everything. And I disagree because to an extent maybe he is doing it. We don't really see too much of him so we don't know, but
Yeah.
from my inferences I feel like that could influence it, but he also does seem genuinely happy and he does seem happier than Shireen is.
No, for
And
real.
then we cut over and we get to see the mother and the son having a conversation in the kitchen, and he's concerned that she doesn't have his life to get her that she doesn't have her life together. She doesn't have a
She
job.
doesn't.
She's in a new in this crappy new place. They ask her why she moved, and the reason she moved is because she was living with a girlfriend and they broke up, so she had to leave. But she tells them that she couldn't afford the rent anymore. And I think it's sweet that the mom was like, "Oh, we would have helped you." That's really sweet. And I liked this entire scene. I don't mind it. I
Yeah,
don't. And then
I
she,
got to see the two perspective of how the siblings look at each other outside of like them talking to each other, especially given the brother, his genuine concern is, well, she's not married. She doesn't
mhm,
have she's not in a relationship of any kind. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have like, she's living in this what they perceive to be a
yeah,
downgrade. It is a downgrade from our last apartment, but they perceive it to be kind of like a dump. And then he's just like, I don't know, like y'all have to get on that. And the mother is just like, well, she's not easy. I kind of feel bad for Shirin in that moment because I'm just like, dang, imagine your mother looking at you and being like, you're not easy to raise, you're not easy to be with, you're not easy at all. Like you're kind of the hardest child. I'm like, gosh darn, guys, maybe she just feels a little bit trapped. I don't know. Maybe talk to her more. I don't know. And then for Shirin, it's like you said, the concern doesn't seem like concern to me. It's like in some instances I kind of got it because it does seem like he's just trying to be. It could be perceived that he is trying to be the perfect son. He got a nice job. He got a nice girl. He's like trying to, he probably has a nice place. We never see it, but he's at a really good place in his life. And as much as I can see that being like, oh, you're trying to be the perfect Persian son. I think it's more so for him. It's just like, I'm trying to get my life together.
mhm.
I'm just trying to make sure I can afford things. And I don't know what you're doing though. Like you, on the other hand, that's not what you're trying to do. So both concerns. I see where she's coming from, though I still think it's somewhat of a place of jealousy. But I do see more where he's coming from in that conversation, because he's just like, she's not ugly, so I don't understand.
Yeah. I do wish that the movie and the film focused more on this dynamic and focused more on the family and
Me
stuff, because
too.
we in the opening sequences we see that, and it's like, okay, we're gonna be following, and even in the synopsis it says we're gonna be following her and her relationship with her family and how her being bisexual affects her relationship with her family, but we don't see them interact that much.
No,
We see a good
hardly
amount,
ever.
don't get me wrong, but it's not the relationships aren't explored really at all.
Hmm.
It really isn't. It's just it feels like it's just a sequence of Shireen doing a bunch of stupid things. And I got the impression that it wasn't going to be like that, and it was going to be more so of a following her and her family, and that's not what we got. And that also contributes to why I didn't really care for, I don't say I didn't care for the film. It just wasn't the best. But next thing we see is Shireen. I don't even want to say it's a job interview because I don't think it counts as a job interview because Crystal set her up with this job. W friend,
Yeah.
by the way.
Right.
She even
She just
lied about
wants
her
to see her friend
experience.
succeed.
I know, right? She was like, "Oh, she's a filmmaker," when she is not. But it seemed like an easy job. I could do that job. But yeah, she talks. I don't remember his name, but he works at the school, and she gets hired as like an after school film teacher kind of thing for like really young, like 5-year-olds. And at least she has a new job now. And then this plot point, I just not realizing it doesn't go anywhere. But there's a mention of like they have a food co-op that I guess they met at or something, or they used to work at together. Shireen and Maxine, and she goes to it asking to be put on her shift, and the lady working there is like, "Oh, it's full. I can't help you. And also, you haven't been working here in 3 months." And Shireen tries to seduce her, which I was so uncomfortable. It was so it's the way she does it. It just makes me feel uncomfy, and I wanted to skip it. I didn't, but I really wanted to skip it so bad because of how uncomfortable it made me. And it doesn't go anywhere either. The co-op is never mentioned again. We never see them working in the co-op. It's not like we never see Maxine working there. There's no interactions that happen there. So I don't know why they had that there because it doesn't go anywhere and they never bring it up again. But that happens, and that is a critique I do have of the film because that plot point doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
I guess like you could say it builds their character because I don't even really know how, but if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I don't like things that don't go anywhere. Doesn't really add anything. Doesn't really add anything to her character. It just
Nope.
felt like it was put there.
It was just odd.
It felt like there was going to be something, and it just wasn't in the final cut. But they didn't cut that part out. That was very odd to me. I thought, yeah, and thinking back, it was odd. But after that, we do get to see her at her new job, and I think she didn't do the job. She grows into it, but which there's a learning curve to every job. But I just feel like if because later she just asks the kids what they want to make instead of forcing them to make something and teach them something because they're 5. You don't need to teach them actual
Yeah.
lessons about film. Just have them make what they want to make, and then they'll be much more cooperative. But yeah, she's new to all this also, and I think this is where the flashbacks begin, and this is why the sequence of events is very fuzzy because it's hard for me to tell what's the flashback and what's not. But
Yep.
that is like I feel like if I have any blaring criticism about this movie, it's that it is so like trying to recount these events now is challenging for me because I don't really know what order of events happened concretely in my mind because I genuinely without a second rewatch I can't tell what the order if I watch it again I can more easily tell what is happening when, but I couldn't. And dear viewer watching this, you might be like, "Oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you watch it? Your whole thing is watching movies because one, I'm not getting paid to do it, and two,
Nope.
I'm not putting myself through watching that movie again.
Yep.
So that's not happening. And I'm not even all about the money. I just don't feel like watching another hour and 30 minutes of my wasted time. That's hard.
It was
I just
like,
don't. I'm not watching that movie again.
it was the other movie I watched was 2 hours. Didn't even feel that long. It did
Yes,
not feel that long as this one did. This one felt
this
like,
one
and
dragged on. I kept checking how much time was left.
bro, I think it's because it's just like I kept pausing because you watch the movie. Shireen is very, very awkward.
So
Very
awkward.
freaking
Like
awkward.
to the awkward to where the point I've never felt embarrassed watching a movie before, but I
I
felt
have
so embarrassed, like secondhand embarrassment, watch everything she does.
everything she does. I was like, girl, even when she's talking to people, like, okay, like the first flashback happens, right? It's her meeting what's her face? Maxine, right?
Maxine at the party,
At a
outside the
party.
party.
So when Maxine steps out of the house, Sharon looks up at her and she says hi, and they said hello, and then they started talking. They introduced each other. Sharon calls her the D slur because it is a slur.
I was
My bad.
like, I remember I paused it and I was like, now why would you
Right?
call her that? And then Shireen was like, I'm
I'm bi,
bisexual. I can
so I
say it.
could say
She
that.
didn't even say bi. She says bisexual. I'm like, why are you saying bisexual? It's stuff like that that makes it feel so weird. And I was on Maxine's side with this one because she was like, you can't say that. I'm like, yeah, you can't say that
You know,
because
and then
I
she's saying tomato, tomato. I'm like, why are you dismissing her saying that it's still offensive to her?
exactly like I don't. I feel like I feel like some people could see it where it's like some people call their like girls call their girlfriends the B word and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
But
different
like,
because first of all, it's not a slur, and secondly, it's like you know them. You just
yeah,
met this woman.
it's like when black people call each other the N word because
Oh, I'm not doing that with someone
people.
I just met.
No, I'm not doing that. Also, it's just a camaraderie thing. Like it's not like I'm pretty sure like some black people don't like to be called that. I've met black people who don't like to be called that and say, please don't call me that, and you just respect it. But I don't know why she was saying like being dismissive of her saying still not right for you to say. So I would appreciate pretty much
No.
it was pretty much like I would appreciate if you just did not say it to me. I mean,
Yeah,
I never heard her call her it again, but like I was like, girl, why are you what's good with you? Like
actually, and they're talking, and it besides that, it was sweet, but I just couldn't get over how awkward she also is.
yeah,
And
cuz she was like
they're
your
talking.
anger is super sexy.
Which I mean, they're drunk, or at least Shireen is. So, and they're talking, and Maxine is just like telling her about herself, and Shireen's like, "Oh, are you a golden star, gold star?" And she's like, "No, I've had sex with men and stuff, or I've had X with an S in front of it with men before." And my first thing was, okay, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what a gold star lesbian or a gold star gay was. I do now, but I was like, okay, well,
I
that's
can
new.
only infer that it means you've only ever been with the same sex. You've never
Yes.
gone
Well, you
head.
only ever had relations with
Yeah,
the same.
relationships with the same sex. That's pretty much how I inferred it. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty much what you meant.
Yeah, and I do believe they kiss at the end of the scene, right?
They do. They kiss each
Yeah,
other
the New Year's
because
kiss, which I knew was gonna
yeah,
happen. That makes sense. That
me
was cute.
too.
That was cute.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a
Awkward
cute
but
meet cute.
cute.
That's a cute meet cute. If I was telling
Very
people how we
awkward.
met, and we met outside a party New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
and we were each other's New Year's kiss, that's actually really cute.
Maxine was telling her about the girlfriend she had, and she was going to meet her, but she didn't end up
Oh
meeting her.
yeah, because Maxine broke up with she was going through a breakup,
Yeah.
and I forget what the problem. I remember I was upset because it was, yeah, because they moved in together. Maxine and her ex moved in together, and then I think it was a few days to like a week later.
Yes.
It was like, yeah, it's like 4 days. I think she said like 4 days later after she sold everything and canceled her lease and moved in. Her ex was like, I think I like my ex, and Maxine was like, well, what am I supposed to do with that information? Like, what am I supposed to do? That would piss me off to know
That would make
about.
me mad. I would have been like, you know what? I'm selling your stuff too. This is
Right.
like I need some financial compensation because what are you doing? You wasted my time and my life? That's crazy. Also, I would never just sell all my stuff and move in with some random person.
Yeah,
I
because
can't
they
do
weren't
it.
together long. I
They
feel
weren't
like
together
before you
long.
move in with someone, a year, six.
A
Okay,
year is
as you get
good.
older, less time is required. So I feel like
Yeah.
at their age, 6 months at least. Give it half a year.
I'm giving it a year. Vet them a lot. Give them a year. Stay over their place. Do a lot of things where you can be within their space and they can be within yours, and you can see if you guys even like sharing the same living arrangements for about maybe a couple days. It doesn't have to be full blown moved in though. I've met people who have moved in after 3 months of knowing a person, and one of them is still together. The other one is not. So it's a hit or miss. You could find that person and then move in with them. I'm not saying everything that has to be linear, but for me personally, I'm gonna give it a year and a half.
Speaking of linear, I wish this movie was more linear. I don't mind
Yeah.
nonlinear storytelling. I like it when it's done correctly, but like for everything everywhere all at once, it's done beautifully. It's not done correctly in this movie. Like
No,
again,
I
I
was
could not tell what was a flashback and what was now.
it's
It
like
was
it
so
took me a
difficult.
minute. It took me a minute to be able to tell because once I realized that Maxine and her were not together, I was like,
Hmm.
okay, wherever there is a scene and Maxine looks like she don't want her to be there,
They're
and
broken up.
she like they're broken up, so this is in the present. And then I was like, okay, whenever they're seen that they're together, this is not in the present. Quite
Yeah,
frankly, when they were actually when she Maxine walked outside and they were talking to each other, I thought that this was a new girl that she was going to be able to talk to. I did not know that this was the girlfriend that she was mourning at the time at all, so I thought this
yeah,
was someone new. And then it took until a few scenes in, I was like, oh, this is your ex. Okay, I'm caught up now. Like,
right,
it did
right.
take me a minute.
The next thing that happens, I think it's a long flashback sequence. I think we're still in their relationship that happens next when they were having X with an S in front of it, and their special rugs came
Yes.
outside, and they went to go pick it up.
And yeah, and Maxie went to go pick it up and they started having a conversation, almost like a heart to heart. And
I
I
will say
don't
during
remember
the
the
scene,
explanation.
I laughed. The only laugh I had in this movie was watching this scene at the end of the scene because it was a little funny. But that entire scene, not even like when they got to Cloud 9, right? I don't even remember what they were saying. I just remember I didn't like Shireen when she was up there. I'm like, girl, do you remember what she was saying? She was saying some. I don't. It wasn't even outlandish. It was just weird.
She sent a 10. Ooh, when she gets like intoxicated, she tends to say off the wall stuff, Shireen.
Hmm.
So like whatever she said, I did not take note of because I was like, girl, what? All I remember is that after they got on Cloud 9, they lay down in the bed and they said that they were going to say something. Maxine said she wanted to say something out loud,
Hmm.
but she doesn't want to, but she's afraid to say it out loud. And Shireen was like, so say it. And then she said, okay, well, on account, because like Shireen had something to say too. And then he said, on the count of three, they'll say it together. And
Yeah,
Maxine's was the fact that she thinking of transitioning. And then Shireen's was the fact that she was falling in love with her. And Maxine says, of course, she's falling in love with her too. And I
yeah.
thought that scene was really cute. Really
Funny.
cute in the bed. Pretty funny.
The way Maxine said it, she was like, "I'm thinking of transitioning into a man." The way she said it was funny. It was just funny because it just came out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, right? I was like, oh.
Yeah, because in my mind I was thinking, what if you guys aren't on the same page? But that was cute.
Yeah.
That was cute. And then I believe either one more flashback scene happens.
Shireen's parents' party, and she's
Oh,
teaching
yeah, that happened. They went to Shireen's parents'
Maxine.
party because
Yeah,
they were
or
hanging out
whatever.
with their dates and stuff.
Yeah,
And Shireen was just talking about how her parents are from Iran, and because of that, they are set in their ways. And then Maxine's like, they can't be that bad. And then she was like, oh, okay, well, you should go and meet them. So she took her to their parents. I think it's a New Year's party,
yeah,
and they go there, and that's when that interaction with her and that other woman happens, where they compliment each other, and then she asks Shireen like about her life, and then Shireen answers, and in the middle of her answer, oh my god, my stomach is so loud. She answers, and in the middle of Shireen's answer, she walks away. And then Maxine's like, what was that about? And then Shireen's like, every time this happens, same routine. And I found it weird in this moment when after that happened, Shireen is like still thinking about it, and she's like, what if I said this? What if I said that? And like not really listening to Maxine when she's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. I don't know why she cares about this random person. They probably know each other, but like still, why do you care? If this person is not interested in your life, cut off. It's only causing you harm. I just think she cares too much, but
Shireen has this like because like when it comes to their fight, we're gonna see that Shireen is she's very family oriented, but that's within her culture to be family oriented and all about the family and all about the people around her. Because I'm pretty sure that was like a cousin or someone that was really close to her, or something like that, that
okay,
she thought of as
that makes
more
sense.
of a family or whatever. But it's easier said. It seems like to me that for Shireen it's easier said than done. But yeah,
I just
that
think
whole
she's very
scene,
obsessive, and she needs to
she
learn
is.
how to control that. But they're talking and they're dancing and they're experiencing the party, which actually looks a little fun. And they go outside and they have this interesting thing where they jump over the fires, right, to cleanse their
Mhm.
souls. And Shireen explains it to Maxine, and that's when Shireen's parents come because they weren't anywhere near. during the prior sequences, and they're like, "Oh, who's this?" And she's like, "This is my friend Maxine. Da 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 da. We're gonna go," and then she leaves, which is fair. It's getting a little awkward, but yeah. And then this is even. I think the problem also with the flashbacks is the flashbacks are long. Like it's like
Yeah.
a lot. It's if they're gonna do it like this, why not just have a linear story where we start? Is it even? It could be a linear story, and I just could. It could be one giant flashback until the end. I really don't know. I don't think it is. I think they go back to the present at least like a few times. But I
Yeah,
would
because it's
prefer it.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do
Continue.
go back to the present, but I would prefer it if they started off like they did, and then we go like how X many days earlier, and we go and see the build up. I would rather that. It would make it so much easier to follow if they're gonna do it like that, because they might as well with how long these flashback sequences are. And then I remember when they show Shireen invited her parents to see their new place with Maxine, right? Because they moved in together. And then their parents were like, "Oh, why is there only one bedroom in here?" And then Shireen's like, "Oh, it's European. It saves us money, and it's inexpensive." So yeah. And my question was, why would you even invite them over if because you know it's gonna be weird? Like personally, I wouldn't invite my parents over if I'm having a one bedroom apartment, and I know they wouldn't really be like vibing with that. Why invite them over? They don't have to know every single thing. I get that you love your family. I love my family, but they don't have to know everything.
Every
Like
single thing. Yeah,
exactly.
it's one
Because
of those things where I think they because this is a scene that probably should have a lot more context, because I don't think it's like she wanted to invite them over anyway, because you will come to find out that obviously Shirin is not out to her parents. Like she never told them that
well,
she was
it,
bi.
it
So why would
she
you
is
invite them
kind of
over
out.
if
She has like a
you
don't ask, don't tell policy with their parents. They know, and she knows they know. And they know that she
yeah.
knows they know, but you just don't talk about it.
Yeah, and that's fine and everything, because like I feel like for them talking about it will be acknowledging it, and they don't want to acknowledge it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one of those things though where because she hasn't really outwardly said it to them, I think they still insisted on coming over because they didn't know if they know, but they didn't really know what they were walking, because they're probably one of those parents that are just like, oh, we want to see your place,
Yeah, it's
but
definitely what happened. But
yeah.
she can say the words no, or how about not, or just endlessly deflect. I don't know. Try harder.
I
And then
mean, you
after
would think so, but like it's like, she's very family oriented. You can tell.
when you say she's very oriented, she says dialogue that fits a family oriented person, but she doesn't
Yeah.
do anything that a family oriented person would do. That's what I'm talking about. I don't like the writing. She's written the dialogue that is written for her is one that would fit a character who is family oriented, but they don't do a good job of showing that at all.
Yeah.
She just says it, and because she says it, it's true. It's like, how about you show me because I'm watching a movie? Why don't you show me she's family oriented instead of be like, I am family oriented?
I think she's more so like that. In that scene, it was more so she was trying to say that I'm different than you, but I don't.
And then what pissed me off about that scene is that Maxine was like, "You have to come out." No, she doesn't. Like, I'm not. Don't
She
mistake me.
doesn't.
Don't mistake that rant for me being on your side, Maxine. I'm not on your side. She
I'm
can come out if
not.
she wants to. I literally paused it and I was like, if she doesn't want to come out, if she's not ready to come out, you telling her she has to come out defeats the entire purpose of coming out, because that whole thing is I'm recording. I need to get a recording sign. You can hear me though. You can hear me. The whole point of coming out is to be able to do it on your own terms. So I don't understand where Maxine was coming from, because as a lesbian, she should know. But that was that scene. And then what really pissed me off about this scene was after the parents leave, Crystal comes in and they're supposed to go out together. I think the three of them were supposed to go out together. But then Maxine's like, actually, I'm just gonna stay home. And Shireen's like, okay, sure. And she's like, okay, bye, I love you, and gives her a kiss goodbye. And Maxine gives her a kiss goodbye, but she does not say I love you back. Just because you're mad at your partner doesn't mean you stop loving them. Just because you guys are having a disagreement, and I do think it's a stupid disagreement because Shireen has every right to not want to come out until she's ready. But that aside, just because you guys are in a little bit of a pickle, a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a rough patch, why would you not say that you love her unless suddenly your love for her stopped? And in that case, that means your love for your partner is not unconditional. It's very conditional upon whether you get your way or not.
I did not even notice she did not say I love you back. I'll be honest with
You
you.
notice that?
I did not. I was sitting there, mind you, I'm watching this movie. I'm still cleaning while I'm watching this movie. I'm cleaning, writing notes, watching it, and I did not catch that. No, but that's interesting. I'm also in agreement that she shouldn't be forced to come out if that's something she just doesn't want to do yet, or say something. And but like it's not like her parents are stupid. That is an important thing. They are not stupid people. So clearly they know something of. They just not gonna say it. It's like you said, it's one of those policy where it's just like, don't ask, don't tell. Because speaking into existence is acknowledgement for a lot of people.
Yeah, and she told Maxine that that's what's happening. She was like, "They know, I know, they know. It's just don't we have a don't ask, don't tell thing where we just don't talk about it." And I feel like Maxine should be kind of like understanding at least. You might not like it,
Yeah.
you should at least understand it.
Yeah.
So that pissed me off. And this is when I really start to not like Maxine as a person. And it only gets downhill because she really gets on my nerves. They both get on my nerves. I don't like either of them. The only
Me
person
neither.
I like is Crystal. She's the only
The
person
only
in this
person
entire
I
movie.
like is the liquor that they had.
That's so real. That's so real. And
But
then
yeah.
we move forward. We move forward. And you know what? This is what I mean. This should not have happened, but we flash back to the present. Should not be happening. I hate it. I think it should just be linear for this movie, much easier to follow. But I remember they go clothes shopping. Crystal and Maxine go clothes shopping, and they go to this little like boutique store. It's very tiny, and the shopkeeper is like, "Oh, you should get this," and then she's like, "Yeah, I need new panties because my ex cut all of them." And then she's like, "It's very inconsequential." I feel like this entire scene could have been cut because it didn't really add too much. It kind of showed like, yes, what's your name? Shireen doesn't see herself as being like pretty, I guess, or like worthy of like womanhood or whatever. But there are like we can already kind of infer that. And I feel like this entire scene just shows it. It just not shows it. It just tells you it instead of what. Like, and this is like constant problem in this movie. It just kind of tells you when just show us in a creative, fun way. But that's not what they do. And then we flash back. You see, this it's just it. We flash back, and I like this scene, the breakup scene. I like that I don't get to see it. I liked
Mm-hmm.
when they had is we don't really see the birthday party, but it's after the birthday party, and the two of them are talking. I forget. Do you remember what the catalyst was? Because they start arguing, but I don't remember what was said to begin the arguing.
If I remember correctly, God, this movie was a lot. It was Sharon was trying to see what was wrong with Maxine, and Maxine was upset. Well, oh no, Shireen said that she does not like Maxine's friends, I think.
Yes,
And Maxine, yeah, and Maxine, I forgot what she said to her, but she was cleaning in the process of what she was
yeah. She
doing.
was like, "Why are you like this?" Something like that, and like,
You know,
I can't deal with you when you're
yeah,
like
she's like, I
this.
do not want to deal with you right now. And they started exploding at each other because
Yeah, because
Shireen always has something to say, apparently.
yeah, because Shireen didn't like her friends, and
Hmm.
then they start arguing, and Maxine, no, Shireen is like, you turned your back on your family, that's why you need all these friends, and that's why you're so defensive, and blah, blah, blah. And then Maxine is
Yeah,
like,
yes, yes.
says she says a word I've never heard before, but basically she calls her like someone who's in the closet. The word she uses I've never heard before. But
Closeted?
no, she didn't use closeted. It was something else. It was along the lines of closeted. But yeah, she was like, you're in the closet, whatever, whatever, and putting shame on her for being in the closet. Which, okay, being in the closet for too long isn't even healthy for you, but it varies from person to person. And again, coming out is a thing that is so specific to the person coming out, like you can't force it. But yeah, so they're like shooting shots at each other, like lowballing each other, like the words they're saying to each other should not be said. And then Shireen's like, why don't we just break up? Because Maxine's like, I can't deal with you anymore. I don't want to deal with you. And Shireen's like, let's just break up. And Maxine's like, okay.
And then they do break up, and Shireen goes in the room and is trying to pack her bag, and she's packing all her underwear. And this was a scene. I was like, this is crazy. She's packing her underwear, she's packing her clothes, and she was like, why don't you just go? Why do you have to pack things? And then Maxine saw she was taking the underwear. She was like, don't, I brought you that underwear. Don't take that
And
underwear.
she
So
starts
she
cutting
goes
them.
to the kitchen and grabs some scissors and cuts them. And I was like, girl, what the heck? And then she was like, oh, since we're going to do all that. And she started breaking bottles of booze. And the nail in the coffin for both of them was Maxine. She said something. What she said, I don't know. But she said something. And it it created this atmosphere of melancholy where eventually Shireen grabs her stuff and she just leaves.
Yeah, I forget what she
Yeah.
says too.
Yeah.
And then also, the reason I don't like Maxine, I already didn't like her, but if we
It was a
rewind,
few scenes back. It was a few scenes back.
no,
Yes. I would
if we
yeah.
rewind a little bit, not even too far, I would say like two scenes back. If we rewind,
It was kind of like
Maxine,
you can
Shireen,
tell that the
it
relationship was
rhymes.
starting to
Maxine, Shireen,
change.
the names rhyme with each other anyway.
But
They
like,
go
yeah,
to a party or club. They
uh-huh.
go to a club, the club, if you will. And okay,
This is where you can see where the relationship is starting to decline.
like first of all, when they get there, Maxine is like downing alcohol. I'm like, if I went with somebody to the club and they're downing alcohol like that, it's like, okay, so you need that alcohol to be with me. Like you can't be sober with me. You need that to be with me. I'm that much for you. And then Shireen runs off with some friends. Friends, I think they just met, but they're a drag queen. I remember that Maxine was like, so why is drag queen is the only part of the queer community that you seem to get along with, which is a valid point because Shireen is very like even when they met, she called her the Diesler. So I'm like, she is very hostile towards other queer people. I see that, and they don't really. I hate that they don't explore that further. They don't really go deeper into this. Like she has not I wouldn't say hatred. I wouldn't say hatred, but she has this weird relationship with other queer people, and she doesn't seem to get along with them well. They don't go any deeper into that, by the way. They don't. I wish they did, because there are these interesting plot points like they just don't go into. But then she also gets wasted. Shireen gets wasted, and Maxine is not with Shireen, and she's talking to this random dude who looks a lot like Shireen's brother. And I thought that was him for a second,
Me
but it's
too.
not. I was like, no, but that's not him. And then Shireen passes out from the alcohol, comes to, wakes up, goes over to the bar where Maxine is, and she sees this girl fully making out with this man, this lesbian fully making out with this man. Now that would be the end of it for me personally. It
Me
would end
personally.
right then and there. It would be over in a heartbeat. Like, what? So Shireen's like, I can see you. And then she's like, oh, well, it's just, and they go outside, right? After that happens. And Maxine's like, it was just, I don't even know. It was like kissing a
It just
baby, you
happened.
know? It just happened. It was only for a second. And Shireen's like, I saw you. It was like forever. And then Maxine goes with the nerve on her. You have to forgive me. You have to Where was the sorry? Did I miss
No,
the
for real.
apology? You have to forgive me. No, I don't. In
No,
fact, I
no, she
have to be
didn't.
leaving right now. I don't know where you got this from, but I'm out. Oh, that pissed me off. That's why I knew I didn't like her, because she's a cheater. She's
She's a
a full
cheater.
blown cheater.
I'm like, I was wondering why you didn't break up with her to begin with. At that moment,
Actually,
I would have ended it. I thought that was going to be the thing that broke them up, but it wasn't, and they stayed together. So I was very confused. It
I
just
was
seems
like,
like
well, because
they were
Shireen
very
has
toxic.
obsession with her, with not even with her specifically. She just, I guess she feels like the type of person that needs to be in a relationship to feel validated. If they're not with somebody romantically, if they're not in a relationship, they don't feel like they are like whole. I guess they don't feel like they can be by themselves. They don't know how to be by themselves. They feel like they need to be
Yeah.
with somebody else, and that's the kind of person Shireen strikes me as. And I feel like that's why she forgives her, which
Yeah.
I do not understand. Because once you're a cheater, you're always a cheater.
Yeah.
There is no more trust anymore in their relationship.
That's probably why they were really rocky after a while, because it was just like, you did that and now I have to forgive you. And she did, I guess, in her own way. But yeah, it's their relationship was not good for each other, in my most humble opinion. There was another scene where it comes back to the present and Shireen shows up to Maxine's thing. I forget what it
Yes,
was. It was like a round circle discussion on
yeah.
a
It's
lawyer or
it's after the breakup scene.
yeah.
They go. It's in a library, and it's giving like a debate. It's a debate circle. I guess the best way to describe it is like a queer think group, and they're just there to talk about current events. I guess politics with other queer
Yeah.
people. And
Oh,
I
it was about the how the justice system mistreats queer people. That's it.
yeah. So I didn't realize this was, excuse me, post breakup until I saw how uncomfortable Maxine was. But she shows up there, Shireen shows up there, and Shireen's like, Maxine's like, what are you doing here? This was on my calendar. And Shireen just like, can we talk? And she's like, no. I don't know what her game plan was, but it did not end well, and it actually end. First of all, this is just a little detail, but the lady who like went around being like, "No side talking," she pissed me off. You want to know why she pissed me off? Because that's the kind of thing I expect from a high school discussion. I'm an
No,
adult.
for real.
You're not gonna tell me what to do. I'm sorry. You're
No.
just not gonna tell me what to do. We're equals, okay? You can see I'm kind of emotional right now. We're having our thing. You can ask me to take it outside respectfully. You can ask me respectfully, but you're like, no, stop talking. You're not my teacher. I have trauma from high school, but you're not my teacher. You're not my boss. Shut the fuck up. I would literally look at her like she's crazy and be like, shut up. I'm having something right here. That's just a side tangent. But the scene ends with Shireen asking out like one of the other women in the group, and I'm like,
The
okay,
one
she's
leading the
obviously trying to
discussion.
make her jealous, but this is
Mm-hmm.
stupid. And
It's really stupid. I feel like Shireen. Well, I don't even feel like I know Shireen is throughout the entire movie. She's following, seeming like for Maxine, but more than that, whenever she sees her, she's trying to make her jealous.
trying to make her jealous, and again, she cannot be single. She just can't be single. You're supposed to take. They say that it takes twice as long as you've been in a relationship to get over it fully, but you're supposed to take some time, some amount of time to
Yeah,
yourself, reflect and grow as a person. But she does not do that at all. She didn't take a
that's
single
what
step
Crystal
into.
was trying to get her to do, but she wasn't listening to that. She was like, "I want her back." I was like, "Girl, I think that ship sailed.
That ship has
I
not
think it's
only
done."
that ship has sailed. That ship hit the iceberg and it has sunk to the bottom of the ocean. But it's gone.
No, it's gone. Dang near unapproachable. Like,
They do not try to go back on that. Their date is awkward. Shireen and the other woman. It's so
yeah.
awkward. I
Again,
really
Shireen is just a very awkward woman. She's
yes.
so awkwardly acted, and it's you can kind of describe it as quirky. I kind of describe it as annoying because I
I
get
don't think it's
annoyed.
quirky. I think it's annoying. It gets old so fast because every scene she's in, which is all of them, I feel either awkward or I feel embarrassed for her, and it's just not a good feeling to have when I'm watching a movie. I don't want to feel constant secondhand embarrassment because she's just doing something stupid. And the entire scene, so like they're sitting down at this fancy restaurant, right? And they're just talking, and Shireen is trying to like I guess impress her because she's like, I can twist a cherry stem with my tongue, and she spills the drink all over herself. And see, at that moment, I would have just left the restaurant like, "We're good day," but then it only gets worse
For real.
because they're trying to like she's trying to like salvage it because that's pretty embarrassing, and she like wipes it down, whatever, and then there isn't really a conversation they have. They're just kind of, I mean, they kind of salvage it a little bit because they make fun of it like the drink didn't slip from my hand. It was a conspiracy, right? And that conversation that was cute. That was cute. Like I feel like they did their best to salvage that awfully embarrassing situation. If it wasn't a first date, it really would actually be hilarious. But because it's
Yeah.
the first date, like the stakes are like this high, like you don't know each other at all.
And the
So
lady that
like,
she's with is not ugly, so she's very attractive.
no, they're both very pretty.
Yeah.
And then, the time to pay and leave comes around. Oh, Shireen's like, oh, I got it. And the other woman's like, oh, no, I got it. And then Shireen's like, I asked you out. I got it. Don't worry about it. And then they're both like fighting over who's going to pay the bill. And then when the waiter comes, she like puts her bill into the slip thing, takes the other woman's bill, and puts it in her chest. That was odd choice, but yeah. And then, they leave, or they get up to leave, and Shireen is like, do you want to come over and see my place? And the woman is like, I'll take a rain check on that. And she was like, oh, which way do you take to go home? I guess like to walk her home or something, or to at least walk her someplace. But Shireen's like, oh no, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You just go, I'll be fine. And then they like go back and forth, and then eventually the other woman leaves.
I
That
think
was
the
the
most
most embarrassing
yeah.
part of the movie. I
Yeah, I
hated
think
it.
the other important part about that scene is the fact that the lady noted and said to Shireen, she was like, "Well, she was like, I'm surprised that you came." That's what Shireen said to her, and she was like, "Well, you kind of asked me out in front of everyone, so it would be wrong of me not to come." And I was like, "So you felt pressured to go on the date with
I
him?"
also do think I think she would have gone regardless though, because the way she said it, she said I couldn't have said no even if I wanted to, which the ending of that implies that some part of her, because Serena is attractive,
Yeah, Shireen is
so
attractive, but I thought the end of that would imply that it's because she was in front of people, not because she kind of felt an attraction towards Shireen. Because it sounded like to
I
me that it sounded like to me like she would have went out with her, but it also sounds like to me is like if like I felt like I couldn't say no. Like it was in front of
It's definitely
everybody.
both.
Like what was
Like
I
she
supposed to
definitely,
say?
it's just that time. Yeah, you pressured me, but
Yeah.
also like because if I got fully pressured by someone who I didn't want to be with, I wouldn't say even if I didn't want to because. Or even if I wanted to say no, but I would just like you pressured me. I couldn't say no because of of the people. But also, I do think that she was at least like physically attracted to Serene, and because of a later conversation with Crystal, the way I interpret this scene is it's supposed to show like because Shireen is like one date and then immediate bedroom relations, and Crystal's like you can have a good first date and not sleep with each other afterwards. Like people can
You
want to take
know?
it slow, and I think this woman is supposed to represent taking it slow, and Shireen just she cannot take things slow. She just feels like she has to shoot for the
No,
stars.
because literally after that date she meets a couple that likes to do things.
Oh my god, that I was like, what's happening? Because she goes over to the bar and then she meets this couple, and
I knew as soon as I saw them. I was like, "Oh, this is what it's gonna be, isn't it?"
as soon as they asked if, as soon as the man asked, "Do you want to join us?" I was like, "Oh, so they're looking for a third. They're looking for a third." I knew they're looking for a third. Um, and Sharina agrees, and she ends up going to their place, and they have relations. And but like during the relation, Serena like stops being into it, and she seems very uncomfortable. And I think the reason why she's uncomfortable is because she like when when the couple starts like being intimate, like just for like a moment, they're like just focusing on each other and not her as a third. She feels like she wants that intimate connection with somebody, and this is just purely physical. It doesn't have that, so I think that's why she felt like that.
Yeah.
And then also the man gets weird after a while,
Yeah,
and
because not well, yeah, but I think he gets weird because Shireen was kind of I think she's more so attracted romantically and sexually towards women, and towards men she's not. She's attracted to them, but just sometimes she wasn't attracted to him as a person, in
I
my
think it
opinion.
was that she wasn't attracted to
Just
him
him.
because earlier she did have relations with a random ass man she met
Yeah, so
online.
I was like, that's why I was like, oh, let me backtrack that because she did have a relation with a man. I think it was just him because she even laughed at him when he said he had latex, and she was like, don't
Yeah,
want to see that. I was like, ooh,
he's not particularly attractive, and then he like kind of wants her to go after a while. I'm like, oh wow, but her and the woman seemed to hit it
what they
off.
hit it off.
And then she was like, the woman was like, we don't even have to like to do that. We can just talk and play. Should we can play Monopoly? I think in another world, or even in the future, in this world, they could be friends because they like they
Yeah,
could be friends.
yeah, I think so too.
And that is pretty much
Yeah.
everything that happens notable until we get to the end of the movie. Well, kind of. We There's a girl named Tibet who
Mm-hmm.
works with Shireen at the after school thing, and for some reason that I as a person do not understand. Well, I see the reason, but I don't understand the reason because Shireen agrees to go out with Maxine, not like basically like to meet up with her at a club, and she brings a random ass dude, and she brings
That she don't even
her new
like.
girlfriend. Why did she agree to that? That's just stupid. She when I
I don't
say she
know.
just does stupid things, she just does stupid things. I know she wants to try and
Putting
make
herself in,
Maxine jealous, but at some point in time, you need to stop caring about what your ex thinks. Like move on.
especially like putting herself in a situation where she's like she has to emotionally be in front of that all the time. Like, girl, you want to be emotionally drained? Why would you want to do that to yourself?
Actually, that sequence happens. Shireen ends up when she figures out it's her coworker who she's dating. She flips out on them and runs to the bathroom, and then Maxine checks on her, which is nice, but also I would not want you near me. And she's like, "Call a taxi, go home, you'll be okay." And Shireen goes in for the kiss, and Maxine's like, "No, no, just go home." She needs to learn. This is why you can't move on if you don't reflect. Like she's just hopping from person to person, from encounter to encounter, but she's not reflecting on herself and growing, and she's not going to grow, then she can't move on from this relationship.
Yeah,
She really
yeah.
pissed me. I don't think I've ever been frustrated with a character more than I was in this movie. It's just because she just does stupid things. I'm not even going to talk about the scene with the kids and them making their film because honestly, it has no relevance to the plot. I'm gonna be so for real. It's
No.
cute, but doesn't really go anywhere.
I mean, at least she finally learned to grasp being a teacher, but that wasn't like the main thing. Like, out of everything that happened, that was like such a back burner thing to happen. I was like, that's such a thing that's
Yes.
behind you. I guess it shows like the growth of her. Okay, let me just put my all into something, or put my all. I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah,
here.
I
It
don't
just
really
seems
know
like
what it's
maybe her
supposed to show
commitment to
either. It
something
doesn't
or
like go
something.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't even think it's important to talk about. Then we have the end. Okay, with the end of the movie, I am so I'm frustrated because the end of the movie explains itself, right? The synopsis explains itself, and it's like, or describes itself. It's supposed to be Shireen navigating, trying to be the perfect Persian daughter. I don't get any of that from this entire movie. I don't get any of that. It's just Shireen trying to, I guess, figure out who she is, but she is, I don't feel like she is not trying to navigate being the perfect daughter to her parents aside from a few token lines that she delivers, but that does not convince me. I am unconvinced. I remain unconvinced. But at the end, she decides that she's gonna come out to her mom, and she tells her mom that her and Maxine dated, and the mom is very. She's like, "Shh, don't say that. Don't say that." And then that's the end of the encounter.
Yeah,
She
she's
also
very
burns
much
her.
so
That's not good.
nah.
Like
She's like,
that's
no, you're
for
not.
the entire movie to be building up towards how she's gonna do this to her come out with it to her parents and how her parents are gonna react. For that to be that's all we get, and that's this scene takes place while there's 8 minutes left in the movie, and there's nothing explored, and then Shireen is just like, I'm gonna talk about it again in a month or two, and that's
We
it,
don't see that month or two.
and we don't see it.
It
It's
was just
like
like
no,
from
it
yeah.
doesn't resolve anything.
I feel like for me, that scene was more so like that was first of all the confirmation that Shirin was right. They know she know, they know that she know, and they know that she know that they know, but they won't want to say it. That's why she was like, shh. But she also gave Shirin that look that said, don't say that to me.
Right.
That's not what you are. Because she even said when Shirin came out, and she said she might be a little bit gay. She was like, no, you're
Yeah.
not. No, you're
Right.
not.
And I don't know, like this scene, I feel like the reason it infuriates me is because this is what the movie should have been about. This is what the movie should have been focusing on, and we should have seen more stuff like this throughout the movie, but we just don't.
Felt like it would have been a bigger part of the movie, but I don't mind the angle of them focusing on how she navigates after the breakup. I just
No,
feel
I'm not
like
saying they
it
shouldn't.
could have
I'm not
been
saying they should get rid of
navigating.
that. I'm saying
Yeah,
that
but
they,
like it should have been a bigger part.
yes, because they should have had her doing that and shown the consequences of her doing that with
Mm-hmm.
her family and how it affects them, and showing that
Yeah.
dichotomy between her Shireen, her actions, and her identity with her family and their relationship with each other. That's what the movie was pitched to me as. And that's not what we got. And what we got at the end should have been more throughout the movie, but we didn't get that, so there's no point complaining about it anymore. I will say the end of the movie when Crystal and Shireen are on the train, and they see Maxine. I liked that kind of. It was my best guess is that it was supposed to show that Shireen is finally moving on from
Mm-hmm.
Maxine and is
Yeah.
not obsessing over her anymore. And then the movie ends.
Yeah. And God, that movie was a lot.
That movie, I did not like it. I truly, what did I give it? Two.
I even put in my notes. I still don't know why Shireen wants Maxine back.
That's my question.
Riddle me that
Maxine is not
question.
all that. Maxine is not all that.
Yeah, I was like, I can't fathom why you would want this lady back, but whatever. She cheated on you, and then she just going to say basically, y'all break up. Like, girl, move on. I don't know what I would rate this movie, but it's not.
I gave
It's
it
not hot.
a 5 out of 10. I kind of want to lower it to a 4 out of 10. I feel like a 4 out of 10 is perfect.
Yeah, I feel like a 4 out of 10 is perfect. I was about to say that. I'll give it a 4.
I think it wasn't. I've seen worse, but it's down there. But it's down there.
Pretty down there. It's pretty down there. It's not. I feel like if I'll maybe rewatch in the future. I probably won't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably won't. But
No,
if
this is
I
not
do
something I would
rewatch it in the
watch.
future, maybe I will appreciate it a lot more. Catch things that I didn't catch before. I'm like, oh wow, this movie's actually maybe like that's like that's safe for when we do that video at the end of the year, and we're just like, maybe if we revisit some movies we could say we did and some stuff like that. But whatever, if I do revisit this movie, it's gonna be, I have to really sit down and watch it, because it's like you said, the non-linearness of it all, and the fact that I can't tell, because normally I can tell when it's like a flashback, but I'm be honest, I don't even know what her girlfriend looked like. Like I
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
like
who is this
if
random
you're
lady?
gonna do a flashback, like you have to give clues. You have to clue us in that it's a flashback if
You
you're not gonna
know?
say it. And they didn't. They didn't even try. It was
No,
awful.
they didn't. It was
It was so
kind of not
bad. But
great.
I'm not saying the movie was so bad. I'm saying how they executed these flashbacks were awful.
Yeah.
And if you could follow the flashbacks perfectly, good for you. I couldn't, and that's not my fault. When I tell you I was locked in, I was locked in.
Yeah.
And of course, I would realize in hindsight, I'm like, okay, that was a flashback. I'm not saying I didn't know what was and what wasn't. I'm saying that it took too long for it to be conveyed to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I thought when we were choosing these movies, I read the
Yeah.
synopsis. I thought we were gonna get something else, and I was excited for this movie. I was so curious about it, and I feel disappointed. I feel kind of let down, a little bit deceived. If I'm being honest,
That's why I went in there with no expectations.
I really thought it was gonna be better, and I think the reason I'm so upset is because we've had pretty good bangers so far. The first two movies we
Yeah.
watched were good, and you know what? This is the first movie I've watched for this week that I don't want an extra scene. Because remember, Walk With Me and Twinless, I wanted that one extra epilogue scene. I want that one extra, just like a little bit something. I don't want anything more from this movie. I'm done with it. I don't want anything more. And you know what's crazy? I was fully expecting to see like an average of like two out of 5 stars when I went to go log it on Letterboxd. It has a 3.4 out of 5.
It has
And
a
I was
97%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes.
It does, which I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, but what the heck? People are like, oh yeah, it's good. Da, da, da. What about it did you like? I didn't like that much about it. I mean,
Again,
it
if
has a good concept. It just does a good job at executing it at all.
yeah, if I revisit this movie, I don't know if my rating will change or not, but as of right now, as the person who watched it right now, me, I did not like it. I did not enjoy it. Well, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I was like, okay, that was a movie. It was a
Yeah,
very
also,
odd piece of media.
I think a big part of why we didn't feel like hooked, there were. I'm just realizing this right now. There weren't any stakes. There were no
Yeah,
stakes introduced because
because the stakes already happened.
yeah, we know that they're broken up, so there's no stakes with the relationship between Maxine and whatever. And because the family plays such a side role in the movie, there's no stakes involving them and how they'll feel or whatever, because they're not really the focal point, which I feel like they should be the focal point alongside whatever Shireen's doing, but they're not.
Yeah.
So we don't have the stakes. Like if we were shown more the dynamic, right, and how however Shireen's parents might learn of her escapades, which would be easier if Shireen moved back in with her parents after breaking up with Maxine,
Mm-hmm.
so that it would make more sense of how her parents are keeping an eye on her. You know what I mean? Maybe they get Crystal to keep an eye on her, something like that, where they're able to be informed somehow eventually of what she's been doing, and because of that, we have the stakes every time that she's doing something. What happens when her parents find out? Because we don't want her to be excommunicated from this extended family of hers, right? When all of them find out, all of her aunties, uncles, cousins, right? So it's like there's none of that, and because none of that, there's no stakes to it. So there's no reason for me to be on the edge of my seat. What's gonna happen next? I'm not asking what's gonna happen next. But I watched a video from I think it was the Wayans brothers who wrote Scary Movie, which aside, because the new one was not all that, but there was an interesting video that they released where it's how they go about their writing process, and they're like they said when you're designing story beats, you don't want to say this happens and then this happens and then this happens. If you're saying and then between your story beats, between your scenes, you're doing it wrong. What you want to do is you want to say this happens, therefore this happens, so because of that happens. You want to, everything should be a reaction or some type of action should happen that causes something else to happen. It should be like a domino effect. It shouldn't be this, because then everything feels just like things are happening, and you don't want that. You don't want that flat feeling. So I feel like that's what this film really struggled with, because it just felt flat. And I believe if they had the family as more of a force in the movie, it would have raised the stakes that much more.
I agree. That movie actually tired me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Did because
I was tired.
I was tired. It was an hour and 30, but it felt like 2 hours. It kind of dragged on, and I think the reason why I'm still like going on tangents about it is just because of how disappointed and not even angry, but like
But more
frustrated I
disappointed because
am.
it's just like the expectation versus the reality of it. Again, I went in with no expectations, but the expectation versus reality of it was different. And
Yes.
but like it wasn't even like, because I understand when people be like, "Oh, don't get your hopes up about something," but I'm just like, it's not like we were like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so good." Da, da, da. It was more so we were like, oh, "I'm very curious to see what this is going to bring." The other two movies were already really good. I'm hoping this movie is really good, and then it wasn't for us. So it's
Yeah.
just like, I do like the fact that it's Iranian representation, though. Go
I
y'all!
liked it
Yay.
too. I do wish they found a way to integrate that more fluidly because it really amounted to just Shireen saying, "I'm Iranian" a lot. There has to
She
have
did
been
say
more.
that. They did do the New Year's party though. I did not know that they jumped over fire to cleanse their
I liked they did
sins.
that. I just didn't like the parts where she was like, "I'm Iranian, I'm Iranian, I got it after the first time you said
Yeah.
it. It's just that it felt shoehorned in there, and I feel like there was a more natural, fluid way because the New Year's party was a great way to just do more of that. And then
Yeah.
them speaking Persian, that's enough. I don't need to hear her say that she's Iranian. I get it. I get it. I understand.
What language were they speaking? What did they speak in Iran?
They spoke Persian. That Iranian isn't a language.
No, yeah, I knew. I just asked what they speak in Iran.
What language do they speak in Iran?
Yeah, what language do they speak in Iran? You said Persian?
Persian.
Oh.
The country used to be called Persia, actually, and they changed it.
Oh my god, it was.
You know.
I wasn't there for that. I don't think I was
No, you were
alive.
not there for that.
But I do remember learning that.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible I was alive.
Yeah, I also hate saying Iran because I sound so American when I say that because it's Iran, not. I sound so American. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. I'm so American. But
I'm not.
yes, you are. You're more American than I am.
I said I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do nothing about this horrid accent. There's not much I can
Yeah,
do
we can't
about
do
it.
anything about it. Where do you think this movie should be? For a reminder, our tiers are God tier, followed by almost masterpiece. In the middle is not good, not bad. Under that is watchable, and then the bottom of the barrel is the worst thing I ever saw for movies that should have never been made.
Watchable.
It was watchable at best.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst thing I ever saw. Like I feel like the worst thing I
No.
ever saw is for movies that I wished were set on fire.
I would have turned it off. Honestly, if we ever have a movie where I just turn it off, I'm gonna come on here and be like, I turned it off.
Have you ever seen Scary
So if
Movie
you
5?
watched it all, let me know what happened.
Have you ever seen Scary Movie 5?
Nope.
It belongs in the bottom of the barrel tier. It has a 1.7 on Letterboxd out of 5, 1.7 out of 5. And I kid you not, I stopped watching it. I couldn't. It was so bad. With that
I'm gonna
being
be honest
said,
with you. I never found the other four enjoyable anyway. So
I like the original.
yeah, I never found any of them funny. I found that they are pop culture moments and they should stay there. But I also was just like, okay, like I don't know. It wasn't for me. I was never a parody person.
It's fair. With that being said, do you have any final thoughts about appropriate behavior?
Don't let me discourage you into watching something you want to watch or not. I would always tell people to go watch at your own discretion. In this particular one, I would say watch at your own discretion. If you end up liking it, you end up liking it. If you don't, you don't. And that's just how it is. And those are my final thoughts.
I agree because, like I said, it does have a pretty high rating. So
Yeah.
people enjoy it. I
Yeah.
and Astro just don't happen to be one of those people.
No.
At all. That being said, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I've learned that people aren't content with that and feel like if they like something or they hate something, everyone has to agree with them. I am not one of those people. So if you find love and joy, or if you just find this movie to be entertaining and fun and enjoyable, then I am happy for you. But
more
for
power
me,
to you.
exactly. But for me, I did not enjoy it at all. Yeah. You know, if you enjoyed it, or if you like feel like we attacked the movie too much, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry that hurt you.
You feel that way?
I don't know. I stand by my opinion, but I don't mean to attack anyone. So there's that. And those are my final thoughts too. I agree. Like go watch it, or if you've watched it and you like it, and that's good for you. I just don't. And like I said, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and I respect people's opinions. So I ask you to respect mine and my co-hosts. That being said, I think that's all we have for this video. If you made it this far and if you clicked, well, if you're watching this, obviously you clicked. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. And if you somehow watched over an hour of this, you're probably asleep because you turned this on to go to sleep. But thank you. If you have watched this movie and you disagree with anything we said, or you just have anything you want to say to us, put it in the comments. I read all of them. There's usually nothing in there, so it's really easy, but I read all the comments. And yeah, if you liked it, subscribe, maybe, or don't, or give it a like, or don't. But remember to get your sleep, eat your dinner, and we'll see you next time. Bye!